Morning, everyone. Welcome to the next edition of Warikoo Wednesdays, this time in a moving car. I wanted to narrate a story to illustrate the point that I wanted to make today. This Friday, a customer wrote in and she bought something on nearby.com, wasn't very happy with the experience. So she had essentially bought a restaurant for the occasion of Bhai Dooj, which was last Saturday, and she wanted to go out with her brothers for lunch. And she'd booked this in advance. And on the last day, on Friday itself, the restaurant called in and said, "Hey, ma'am, sorry, we have something that's come up tomorrow and we'll have to cancel your booking." And she clearly wasn't very happy. When she wrote in, I don't think her purpose was to find a resolution through me, but she genuinely wanted to just express her disappointment. And she ended up with the things that hit me the most. "You have lost a loyal customer." And nothing disturbs me more than that. So I sent out an email to the customer care and I was like, it's very likely that the customer reached out to us. Tell me what happened. And very quickly they got back, and what I transcribed was the customer had bought this restaurant several weeks back for this special occasion, and at the last minute the restaurant had got a private party. So they unfortunately had to politely refuse every customer, not just nearby customers, but every normal customer even walking in. The place was completely packed with that private party. Not the customer's fault, not the restaurant's fault as well, not ours as well, but someone had to bear the brunt, and unfortunately that was the customer. So when we got to know of that, when the customer called in, the customer care department tried and speak to the restaurant manager, and they tried and reasoned with him. "Hey, could you accommodate this for a few hours or in some other spot?" Unfortunately, nothing worked out. So we were left with no choice but to refund the entire amount to the customer. That's not what she wanted, but that was the only thing that we could do. So when I heard that, I told the team, "You did everything that you had to do. From the checklist perspective, from a process perspective, from an output perspective, you did everything. You listened to the customer, you showed empathy, you tried and reasoned with the restaurant manager, and in the event that we couldn't solve this, you actually graciously offered a 100% refund. Everything was just the way the rule book had defined it." But if you really think about it, was the customer happy at the end of it? No. And that's why she wrote in. So let's try and do it differently. Imagine that the customer has called in again, and this time the purpose is not to close the ticket or to respond to the customer. The purpose is to have the customer step out with her brothers for lunch as she has planned. And that suddenly activated a very different chain of events, because now the team was like, "Okay, let me take ownership and we'll find out if there are other restaurants at the same price point, or we couldn't find it. Let's go above." And we found a great restaurant, and it was more expensive than the one that the customer had paid for, but we were like, "You know what, we will take the hit." And eventually we did end up sending the customer and her brothers to a nice place. It was more expensive, so they got, I'm imagining, better quality and so on. We took the hit. And at the end of it, we had a happy customer. We had a team that had a very high sense of ownership and felt great about themselves. And there was, yeah, some financial loss, but I would imagine that that was far lesser than the eventual outcome that we did have. And to me, this is such a great reflection of the difference between output and outcome. Output is what you're told to do. Output is what you're meant to do. Output is the checklist, the process that the system has defined, the things that the manager has told you. But the outcome is what the output is meant to achieve. It's the sole purpose. It's the larger objective of the exercise that you go through every day at work. So, hey, send out this email to the customer. Output. But what is that email meant to do? Outcome. Hey, let's release this product feature. Output. But what is that product feature meant to do? Outcome. Hey, let's go and close this merchant. Output. But what is closing the merchant really mean? Outcome. And I have consistently found that people who are able to question the outcome, why am I supposed to do this? What is the larger purpose that my output is serving, my task is serving, I am serving? Those individuals find greater purpose in their work, greater fulfillment in their work, and very often they're able to redefine the way that their work should be, because they are never focused on the 2, 3, 5 things that they're meant to do, but they're focused on the end result. What is my work meant to achieve? And if I get there, it doesn't matter what path I take. It could be the path that the manager or the system defined, but it could very well be a path that I define for myself. Own the outcome, not the output. Own the outcome, not the output. my message for today. Until next time, see you all.